Пожалуйста.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your warm introduction. Your Excellency, Mr. Yovanovici, dear colleagues, good morning. It's really a great honor for me to be here. And in the past 2 days, I have really enjoyed the speeches and communications. And there are so many new perspectives, ideas, and informations running in my mind. So when I revised my speech last night, I asked myself, what is the strongest feeling you have got from the conference, the youth roundtable, and the exhibitions? The answer I give myself is, we need a more secure and more prosperous world. In fact, the past 2 days' events reminded me a famous remark of Mr. Deng Xiaoping, the man who opened the door and studied the reforming process of modern China. He said, peace and development is the two main topics of today's world, and both of them are still in process rather than well accomplished. So here, my speech is organized mainly by 2 parts, and I will try to answer 2 main questions. The first question is, how should we pursue for a more secure world? We all agree that we need a more peaceful and more stable world. So how can we achieve these kinds of goals? I think we can endeavor from at least 3 dimensions. First, we need to learn lessons from history. Yesterday, Mr. Ganikovici told us that it is very difficult for the big heads from Soviet Union, United States, and Britain to reach an agreement during the YALTA and POTSDAM conference. But finally, they succeeded. I think we need to learn them with their wisdoms, which is very important for today's world. And we need to try to find the possibility of cooperation through differences. And in addition to this, we need to bear in mind the tragedy of wars. Bear in mind the history is not to continue the hatred, but to prevent such kinds of tragedies from occurring again. We can notice that when facing the history, some countries are really worth appreciating and have got forgiveness and respect from all over the world. While some other countries still have not enough courage to face up to its own past. I think you know which country I mean here. Well, only if facing up to the history, to the past, can we have enough confidence and enough abilities to build mutual trust, to earn mutual respect, and to maintain the world peace and stability. Second, we need to cherish the post-war political arrangement. The Cairo Conference, YALTA Conference, POTSDAM Conference, and the UN Charter has constituted the main principle for the post-World War arrangement. Generally speaking, relying on this arrangement, the world has enjoyed a long-term peace and stability. But in the meantime, some country is still insisting pursuing for hegemony, and there are still some confrontations, conflicts, and injustice So how to promote our world to be more peaceful and more stable? I think we should follow and abide by the principle of UN Charter. We should respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity. We should respect every country's right to seek for its own political system and developing model. The bigger country, the great power, should not have any privileges. Quite on the contrary, they need to take more responsibilities based on their own abilities. Third, we need to highlight the importance of dialogue, negotiation, and consultation. For all the hot and intricate international issues, we should rely more on dialogue and negotiation. Along with dialogue and negotiation, we can make more consensus. Along with dialogue and negotiation, we can find more proper approaches to solve the complicated problems. So every country needs to cooperate and coordinate with others and work together to achieve a win-win situation. Recent years, the Chinese government has developed its own security ideology. China proposed that all the countries need to join together to pursue for a common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security. Common security means we should ensure that all the countries and all the peoples live in a safe circumstance. In other words, we cannot make some country enjoying security but others facing tragedy of war or conflicts. Comprehensive security means there is no war, no military conflict, no confrontation, and no fear for diseases, poverty, instability. In other words, when trying to solve security issues, we should find its social and economic roots and solve them through a more comprehensive way. If we don't follow this principle when trying to solve certain security issues, we may cause troubles for other security fields. In fact, as so many colleagues have mentioned, our world has made this kind of mistakes, so many these kind of mistakes in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Libya, Syria, and so on. Cooperative security means all the countries should work in concert with others to cope with our common challenges, rather than making confrontation or conflicts between us. Sustainable security means we need to find an approach that can ensure security not only in short time, but also in long term. Then let me come to the second question. How should we pursue for a more prosperous world? Nowadays, our world still have 800 million people that are bearing poverty and hunger every day. We still have 6 million children died under 5 years old every year. We still have 60 million people that can have nearly no opportunity for education. So in order to improve people's livelihood, we still need to pursue for rapid economic growth. Well, only rapid growth is not enough for development. And we need to pay more attention to other dimensions of development. Firstly, we need to make the global value chain to be more even and more equal to all the countries and all the peoples. We have noticed the phenomenon of economic disparity and unevenness. Some countries have a very high position in the global value chain, while Others have a relatively low position in the global value chain. So some people can have a higher salary and can enjoy a better social insurance with very easy and very light job, while some other people can only have very low income and nearly no health insurance with very heavy job. I don't mean that we need to change this kind of situation through radical revolutions, but mean that we should balance the relationship between efficiency and justice. From my point of view, we have paid too much attention to efficiency in the past several decades, and now it's time for us to pay more attention to social justice. Secondly, we need to enhance the voice and representativeness of emerging and developing countries in global economic governance. As some countries monopolize the right of setting international rules, they can build rules and institutions that are more favorable for their own interests. That means rule setting and institution building is also a kind of power. Obviously, it's unfair for the disadvantaged countries. In order to change this unbalanced situation, we need to enhance the voice and representativeness of emerging countries and developing countries in global economic governance, for example, in IMF, World Bank, and G20. Thirdly, we need to ensure that we can coordinate the relations among development, environment, and social justice. We need to pursue a developing way to be more comprehensive and more inclusive. That means the government needs to ensure that people have equal opportunity of education, employment, healthcare, and social insurance. In the meantime, we need to coordinate the relations between development and environment. So the future development should be environment-friendly and more sustainable. For Chinese government, I think it insists that the world needs to pursue for equitable, inclusive, comprehensive, and innovative development. In fact, President Xi Jinping has highlighted this point when he gave a speech on the UN Development Summit this year in New York. In fact, in the past 60 years, China has provided 400 billion RMB to international society. And in the future, China is planning a South-South Cooperation and Aid Foundation, and China will invest $12 billion to the most underdeveloped countries before 2030. China will remit the debts of the poorest countries. And it is known to all that China has raised a Belt and Road Initiative 2 years ago. Some people ask me, why does China make this kind of initiative? My answer is, China is trying to seek new momentums and impetus for world economic development. If looking back to the history of international economic cooperation, we will find that the traditional approaches is first setting some mechanisms or institutions and then promoting the practical cooperation within this kind of framework. We believe that through this kind of approach, we can promote the economic cooperation. Well, sometimes the strict criteria is difficult for the developing countries to accept. In fact, we should notice that there are many other approaches that also can promote economic cooperation. Infrastructure cooperation, which the Belt and Road Initiative highlighted, is just one of them. Comparing with road setting and institution building, infrastructure construction may facing more challenges and may have less profits, but still, it is a proper way for China to enhance its economic ties, economic cooperations with relative countries, and it can help to promote the cooperation to be more mutually beneficial. To this point, I think the Belt and Road Initiative is just a kind of international public goods that China provides for the world. Through this kind of cooperation, we can not only promote the economic cooperation, but also ensure the equality among countries and among peoples. In order to promote the mutual understanding between relative countries and ensure that the interest of the relative local people, my institution, China Center for Contemporary World Study, proposed to construct a think tank network on the topic of Belt and Road Initiative. If colleagues here are interested in this network, you can contact us to join in. Maybe we can do some studies or host some workshops, some seminars together. Ladies and gentlemen, Russia is playing an important role in international politics. China and Russia have built a comprehensive, strategic, and a coordinated partnership. And the two sides has delivered a joint statement for coordination of Silk Road Economic Belt and Eurasian Economic Union. I think these two countries will continue working in concert with each other to promote the world peace and stability. EU is a normative party in world politics, of course, is my own understanding. It has provided so many common values for the world politics, and China and the EU will enhance their partnership of development, peace, and civilizations. Serbia and China also have a traditional friendship. When President Nikolic visited China in 2013, the two sides released a joint statement of strengthening their strategic partnership. Just in these 2 days, Premier Vučić is paying a visit to China and attending the 4th China CEE National Leader Conference. I believe that under this framework, under the background of China's Belt and Road Initiative, China-Serbia relations can be further enhanced, and I hope Serbia, as well as other Balkan countries, can play more important roles in the world politics. Finally, please allow me to say some words about the Youth Roundtable. I really enjoyed that event, as young people from both Europe and China talking about the world's security, social issues, and development. I myself is also a young person. I think Chinese ex-leader Mao Zedong has noticed that the youth are the son of 8 to 9 in the morning, and the youth people represent the future of the world. So I think tomorrow is in our hand. So let's join together to pursue for a more secure and more prosperous future. Thank you for your attention.